The thing that I'm most worried about is that you are all talking yourselves out of doing what you feel in your stomach because you think there's a better way. Today, I just want to do something like bubbly and good. Do that. And then when you do something that you feel in your stomach, what I'm scared about is it doesn't do as well as your other content and you give up after one post and you archive it and try to act like it didn't happen. I think you should do things you want to do. When you're 90, you're gonna be sad if you didn't do the thing that's in your stomach. A lot of you are scared to do new things because you won't get as many likes, or you're scared to lose your audience instead of realizing you're gonna gain a bigger audience. Do your thing.
I have a good following on my personal page, and there are two separate pages. So do you think I should be putting them into one?
No.
How do I go about it?
Good news, everyone. The algorithm change of the last 3 years has taken this completely out of the equation. No more thinking. It's individual pieces of content. You could start a third one and post a good piece of content there. And I have big pages too, and literally, I think everyone here knows this because you see other people with like 500 followers and you're like, how'd they get 13 million on that view? The whole game changed. And so I wouldn't overthink that. The following is now a vanity thing more than, I believe in the next 24 months, they're gonna eliminate even your followers as a reason for the content to be seen. It's crazy how this is all going. And so I would just focus on making very good content, depending on what page. You can even create a third page. You could create another page called gratitude, 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 and post there for learnings and testings. I do that with different pages. So it's now down to the individual content, not the page.
My question for you is on Threads, okay? So Threads is this hot new spot. I've been growing like super organically. It's been fun and refreshing as a creator, honestly, to just get out there and just feel what I guess it used to be like.
Yeah.
Y'all were like creating. And so my question for you is, I feel like I have a good rhythm now on really kind of maximizing what my posting schedule will be using ChatGPT, and I'm getting really good engagement. But now what? Like, how are people monetizing it? Like, I keep seeing like these Threads bonuses, but to me that seems like smoke and mirror. Like,
yeah.
What do you recommend?
So I think monetizing comes in so many shapes and sizes, everyone. Obviously, I think you all are aware of this. The size and scale that you need to be at in views to actually make your monetization from the platforms giving you a share of ad revenue is very large. Yes. Like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of strong people here, me included, but all of us combined, we don't have the reach of, you know, a tenth of what Mr. Beast is getting to be able to get those kind of real dollars. I think monetization comes outside of the platforms. So you're building reputation, you're building brand, and then you're able to create monetization outside of it. So if you're getting a cadence of organic growth through Threads while everybody's looking elsewhere, I think you double down on that because the attention is the most valuable thing. And then there's a million ways, books and clothes and product and consulting and speaking. And I mean, you could literally go on forever. And I think all of you are educated enough to know that, and new things will pop up of ways to monetize. But I think, Tina, if you've got a pattern going and it's working, especially with something like Threads, where you're basically outflanking people, not realizing that there's action there, I would go hard.
Okay.
My thought is, anytime that my wife and I have had success, we've been super laser focused. When is it time to just focus on one thing, and when is it time to have more ideas and go out? Because I'm always ideas, she's always focused, and
makes you guys a good team. There's a lot of answers to this. First, and I'm really glad we're doing this. First, you need to decide what success is. Let me be very clear. One of the reasons I'm challenging to follow if you don't get this kind of time with me is I am not trying to maximize fame or money. I'm trying to maximize me being happy. And so when I do things that fail miserably and I lose money, time, and effort, I'm not sad, I'm happy because I did it. That is not what most people do. It's also the luxury after doing it well for 25 years, right? So to your wife's point, Josh, like I focused on just building wine library for my dad the first 12 years of my career, right? And then when I was building VaynerMedia, I mean, there's something for the hardest core GaryVee fans. They know this one very nerdy fact about my career. There's almost no content from me in 2006 to today. Literally, 18 years. There's almost daily content for me, except from 2012 to 14, there's very little. Some public speeches here and there. I was so laser focused on building the foundation of VaynerMedia, I put GaryVee on the shelf. And that's because I sensed that it was time to focus because I wanted to build a foundation that would allow me to do more. So by the time I popped back up in 2014 with the Ask GaryVee show, I had a couple people able to help me that worked at VaynerMedia. Prior to that, 2006 to 12, I did everything myself. So, I think for all of you, this is gonna make sense. There's moments when you have to hit while the iron is hot. Whether you're growing your fan base, whether your deals are coming in. What I do, Josh, is I respond to what I'm feeling. So if I feel like there's something, and look, how do you tell somebody like Josh, like what the feeling is? It's hard to say that. But I will say this, and I'm saying this for everyone. You also have to know what you're doing this for. I literally today on the elevator, coming into my office, was reminiscing about early Wine Library when my life was simple. I was making $48,000 a year. It was simple. I was opening a store and closing a store every day. That's what I did. And it was awesome. And I love what I do now, but I love that too. And so, I think one thing that I hope all of you, because all of you have gotten to some place of public success, I hope you have the humility and the kindness for yourself to know when you don't need to grow. As a matter of fact, this has been a year like that for me. I've not really grown the GaryVee thing as much. I've been very focused on VeeFriends and VaynerX. And my personal life, to be honest. Kids, my personal life, and I'm okay with that. Like I saw today somebody post how many views they got this last month on Instagram. It was their post. And it was 20% more than I got this last month. And this is somebody that I know for a fact, learned from me 7 years ago. I was happy for them, not sad for me. And so I think eliminating envy, eliminating jealousy, realizing that nobody else's life has anything to do with yours, saying things like I hope all of you can get out of your vocabulary things like, oh, they copied me and now they're growing. Or they got all these things that I know slip into the mindset of what we all do for a living. Nobody's taking away from you. And if you're not growing, it's okay to take a breath. Some days, some weeks, some months, and even some years are just a reset, or you're focused on something else. I am very professionally obsessed. I am super ambitious. I'm super into this. I love what I do. But having grace for yourself is also important. And so, for example, if she's the straight man and you're the creative force, as long as you guys are over communicating and not creating resentment or tension, just keep communicating and it will, and you know this, it probably already has. It ebbs and flows, Some days, some weeks, some months, and some years are better than others. But here's a big one, but being comfortable with being uncomfortable is a real talent. Not being able to figure out how to grow for 6 months and being okay with that and enjoying the challenge, or at least being neutral while you go through the muckery, it's important.
Sweet, thank you so much, Gary.
I'm very new to the parenting world. My little baby is 5 weeks old. So
wow.
Very new.
Congrats.
I started in music and built a lot of my audience that way, and that's still a part of my life, but I've moved into more of the lifestyle and travel space, and obviously now this whole new world, and just letting my audience into this process, the good and the bad so far, has really connected with a lot of them. And I was just curious what you've learned in this space, and if you see a lane here, because I feel like everything was super curated and then it was super stripped down and raw.
I think Matt, I'm sorry, go ahead, Maddie.
I feel like there's a balance in that, and I don't want to just be focusing on negative things, but also include people in on the process. So I'm just curious if you've seen any sort of need.
I watch it all the time. The answer is everything works and everything doesn't work. This is real, right? Like, and I've watched people go through the ebbs and flows, right? Like right now, there's so much data that supports that people that are over curate are not doing as well as they used to. But then everybody who loves curating and making everything look polished and the grid look good sees somebody explode who only does that, and then they want to gravitate towards it because they like the aesthetics. Then, you know, like, and so I need everyone to hear this nice and slow. There's no right answer. There's right answers for you at right times. And so if you wake up and be like, man, I love even the way you asked the question, man, I've let people into a lot of the challenges. Today, I just want to do something like bubbly and good. Do that. The thing that I'm most worried about is that you are all talking yourselves out of doing what you feel in your stomach because you think there's a better way. And then when you do something that you feel in your stomach, what I'm scared about is it doesn't do as well as your other content and you give up after one post and you archive it and try to act like it didn't happen. The level of insecurity, please watch what I'm doing. I think you should do things you want to do. I think when you're 90, you're gonna be upset. Every one of you, I just saw Kenyatta just answer, I saw Adrian just shake his head, like, do your thing. Because I'm telling you when you're 90, you're gonna be sad if you didn't do the thing that's in your stomach. I know a lot of you from afar. I know a lot of you have built a foundation to be able to do more things, but a lot of you are scared to do new things because you won't get as many likes, or you're scared to lose your audience instead of realizing you're gonna gain a bigger audience. I was the biggest wine personality in America in 2011, but I wanted to talk about business and mindset too. I keep putting out all sorts of stuff. I'm me, and I happily leave shit that doesn't do well on my page. Please remember that you're not in high school anymore. Here's how I'll say this. You know how like 100 years ago people didn't know a lot of things we now know? I mean like real stuff like penicillin and like don't smoke and like just real shit, right? I always think about what in 50 years are people gonna know that we sit here today and don't know? Some things are obvious, like drinking out of plastic bottles is like pretty obviously gonna end up being like, no, you shouldn't do that. You know, that I can like wrap my head around. I'll give you one that I don't think people have figured out yet. In 75 years, it will be common knowledge that your gut is the primary brain and your brain is secondary. I think we've all been taught to not listen to our gut, our intuition. I actually think intuition is the answer to every quiz. So Maddie, what I would say is like, if you feel it, don't use your secondary brain to talk you out of it.
It does that a lot.
I would argue that it does that a lot for almost everybody. And I will tell you, not that I've been right or all the time, but the reason I am so calm, always, in the scheme of things, is because I listen to it. And I think, especially with math around social, all of you, I promise you, are overthinking it. Remember how you got here was by not overthinking it. Most people don't realize the thing that's gonna make you grow more is the thing that got you here. But then you get to somewhere and you start to overanalyze. You know, like, so intuition, okay? Some days are good, some days are bad. Don't hold it back, you know? And also, don't share something you don't wanna share. I think again, some of you who followed me for a long time, I think you know this. I don't share my personal life. I don't want to. But I don't judge other people that do. I think it's awesome if that's right for them. But like, don't do what you think you need to do, right? Do what is good for you. And also be thinking about the future. You know, I think, again, since a lot of you do a lot with kids, pay attention to your child. There may be a time pretty early on, before 5 or 6, where you get a sense of, should they be public? Some kids rock with it. Other kids, you may decide, even though your kid is the one that the audience likes the most, it's your kid and you can tell they shouldn't be out and about. So like, be strong.
My question is kind of based around what you came on kind of suggesting too, is it has to do with getting brand deals and just kind of what suggestions do you have to get
is it harder to figure out how to get them incoming, or harder to figure out when they get to you what to do that works for both of you?
Incoming.
Probably incoming.
We just we don't get offers for brand deals. Like we hear other people saying that they get all these offers from people, and that's just not something we get very often.
Yep. And do you ever reach out?
We've been starting to do a little more outreach.
Yeah, Dan, I think honestly, brother, I think it's a layup for you. Do either one of you like the idea of spending 30 minutes to an hour listening to music and DMing brands and being like, hey, if you ever want to check us out, let us know?
Yeah, I think I could settle into that.
Yeah, brother, for me, it's the most fun. I'm aware that it's not fun for everyone, but I'm telling you right now, it's pretty I don't know, it's like therapy for me. It's like having an hour where and by the way, it's what I do when I say hello to some of you. Like the reason you hear from me is I literally am on a flight and I'm just like, you know what? This is more fun for me. I don't do it for brand deals, but it's what I tell everyone to do and it works. And Tina's right. You can use ChatGPT, but believe it or not, that's the next step in my opinion. Literally, you DMing every single product that's in your house and saying, hey Twizzlers, just wanted you to know, me and the fam love your stuff. Hey Head and Shoulders, just want you to know. You would be stunned if you literally just started with everything your family uses and just say big fans. If you want to get real fancy, if you pour yourself a bowl of fucking Cheerios and take a photo and DM them, you have 700,000 followers on Instagram. It's going to catch the attention of brand managers and agencies. So I just think this is one of those scenarios where you got to go out and take it. And I think, again, working out, meditating, watching TV, reading a book, everybody here has different things they like to do. If God willing, you can get into a place where you enjoy that hour a day, you will see unlimited deals in 6 months.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Dan, real quick, that fun photo you had with you guys drinking the icy, right? If you just DM that to them and be like, we love your stuff, but you could also take that photo and be like, we're an ice cream family, and you could just literally go from top, literally from Jerry's all the way down, you could just hit them all.
Okay. I've had that in mind. We need to act on it.
You're just talking about DMing on Instagram?
Yeah, literally DMing 40 different ice cream brands one night. And it's you could literally go into chat. Have you used ChatGPT yet?
Yes,
Good.
I have.
You can literally go in there and be like, can you give me the Instagram handles to the top 25 ice cream brands in America? They'll give it to you, boom, you're off and running. Again, I love business development, so it's the most fun. And it is literally back to crafting a message. When you're fortunate enough, like you are, to have this many followers, literally just a DM that says, we love your products over here, keep it up. Literally that.
You said something maybe a year and a half ago online, and I was dealing with, just a lot of just people, you don't ask for, a lot of followers, they kind of just gravitate towards your page. And then I was dealing with, like you were saying, posting what I want to post versus what they want to see. And then I found out a balance of the two. And now I'm leaning more so towards what I want to post, because one thing you said a while back was, don't be afraid to take a break for 2 weeks or 2 months, because you'll always come back stronger. And, I took a break for a while because my brain needed it.
Good for you.
We came back, and then it was kind of okay, people will miss your presence. But what is your take now, knowing that was a year and a half ago? What is your take on disappearing for a while?
I believe in it the most. Somebody I have a very viral clip in my world where a kid comes up to me at a Super Bowl Radio Row and he goes, what's your take on health and business? And I'm like, well, if you're dead, you're out of business. And people just, and so similarly, if you're burnt out, right? If you're just like, and everyone gets there. Brother, when I tell you, there are very few people, in life that like working the way I like it. And even I, 7, 12 days a year, wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? Like, so, and I'm very aware that I'm in like outer space fortunate, and I know many more people struggle. My podcast, the Ask GaryVee show, Tea with GaryVee, Daily V, Wine Library TV, I've stopped things I don't want to do all the time, regardless of how well they do. And if you don't want to post for a day or a year, then that's going to be important, because play it out. I always say this to my friends and like people in these moments, play it out. So the worst downside is you're out for so long, you lost your moment, right? I know what everyone's worried about, but like no level of money, because that's, forget about silly things like vanity. There's no level of money that's worth the alternative that you stayed the course and you really hit rock bottom. I don't think people understand the capacity of a human when they become unhappy. Like when you get to real unhappiness, you start to do silly things to cope. And those things are very damaging. And less money is not very damaging. You just live a less bougie lifestyle. I don't think people get it. And so I'm pumped that you've been able to taste that. The fact that you've been able to get off the treadmill and are on the other side, you should be golden. Really, even though you, like any other human, are still gonna be worried about the momentum loss, but you've gotta do you, because those two right there, they're not gonna care about how much is in your bank account in 15 years. They're gonna care about your relationship with them. I promise. People have it super twisted. I have unlimited trust fund baby friends. They're not that happy. And we have to focus on that, for real.
So being able to be busy in real world stuff and making content, and being blessed to be able to be consistent with all of that. Also being a father.
Yes.
How have you navigated being so busy ever since 2014, even working as much as you have, and still being present, still being in your kids' lives?
I'll tell you how. By not beating myself up. Like work-life balance. By whose standard? Who gets to decide? I guarantee if we do a survey right now, everyone's got a different answer. And oh, by the way, I know plenty of parents that come home at 5 o'clock every night and don't pay attention for shit about their, what are you deciding? So, Nate, I think it's about effort. By holding myself accountable, by not being delusional that I'm choosing work over the kids and I'm making up some excuse, and by living a mantra, if I can, I will. Right? We're all living different lives, and sometimes, and by the way, let me go fully, you're also allowed to be a human being. You're allowed to, this is real for every parent. You're allowed to miss a recital or a game or a class thing for something that is either a fire at your work, or even, let me blow your mind here, you just chose to do something for yourself. You're allowed. It is not a 100-0 game. I love my dad the most. We have a crazy good relationship. He showed up for nothing in my entire life. Not one thing. Not one video game, not one parent-teacher conference. He didn't know anything about my childhood. Nothing. There's no perfect system. You gotta just do the best you can. And you gotta react to the truth of the situation. In fact, I would argue that a lot of kids are incredibly depressed and insecure today because their parents did go to everything and they overcoddled everything. I think a little adversity, I think little Johnny not having his dad come to the big game is a shockingly good thing for little Johnny. Not always, can't feel neglected, but I think a little balance in the force would be nice. So I think, Nate, by knowing that you're trying and caring about your family and doing the best you can.
Appreciate that, thank you.
As I'm building my speaking career, how to just get on those bigger stages?
By filming your talks on smaller stages and posting them on YouTube in full form, and as many pieces of content for social from those talks on social. Period, end of story.
Keep it going. All right, great.
I spoke for free at scale just to get the content. As a matter of, I'm going to say something even crazier. Most of what I say yes to today, ironically, I did, as Dustin's filming right now, we know like one of our problems in GaryVee land right now is I'm busy building VeeFriends and VaynerMedia, so I'm not speaking as much. I'm not doing tea with GaryVee. I'm not doing the podcast as much original. It's clips, you guys know, you get a sense. So I literally went to Orlando yesterday. I said yes to a speech strictly to see if I could get some new stuff out of me for content. Think about that.
That's the value for you, yeah.
And for you, the value will be more people will see you. The reason I got to the biggest stages is people found my speeches on the internet in short and long form and then decided we need Gary. That will be the same for you based on the merit of your and the quality of your speeches and clips.
Awesome.
My question today, Gary, is that, so a year and a half ago, I started my social media account after listening to you tell us to share what we love for so long. So I did that and I focused on just providing value, nothing else, not asking for anything. And then a month ago, I launched a course that's doing really well, but I struggle with the fine line between embedding, talking about my course into my content, but doing so in a tasteful way. I try to do it naturally, but I don't want to turn off all of my followers that I've gained from.
I mean, get your profile perfect. Here's what I mean by that. Your bio should be your selling engine and your content should be leading into it. Right? So Jenna, what's your Instagram?
ABA Naturally.
Right, so already you're doing the right thing, video course with the link down, but you're selling 5 different things.
Just one, there's 2 courses, just selling 2 courses.
I'm sorry, when I say selling, you're sending me to 5 different things. Your Amazon store, your YouTube, right?
Okay.
Right, so when I look at this, what I'm trying to think about is, and I'll make this for everyone, what I'm trying to figure out is like how this bio, the more you can make your bio remarkable to sell the thing of the moment that you most want to sell, the more you don't have to sell in your content.
Okay.
So Dustin, maybe he doesn't even know why I always do this. Dustin knows on my team, I'm always trying to get down to only having 1 link. And the team always wants to have 3 because I have 97 things that are going on. And like sometimes, I rarely like control the controllers, I just tell them to, but sometimes they'll wake up and like I'll take down the link, like I will take it down.
Yeah.
It's because if I want people to know about my cartoon, I want them to know for this month about the cartoon, and I don't even want them to have to click, right? You all know what I'm saying, right? Like you've got to click that extra link. Let me do it here so it's easier. Right, this extra link to scroll down. I just want it there because there's friction. Think about how I think about friction. Because you have to click that to then get the other things and click that, that's 2 clicks. Whereas if you just have it here, it's 1 click. Think about the nerdum I'm going with on all of you right now. So getting your bio, or you know what else you can do that crushes, that you will love? Put out your content, like your good content that you're putting out. But then at the, like in this design, or, in this design, either in the bottom or at the end of this clip, I'm gonna let this clip play out because obviously I'm answering for everyone. At the end of that clip or on the loop, you can have your PS. Like literally at the bottom, you can have like a banner, like right where your name is right now on the screen, that could just say PS, link in bio to my course. Now it's just making people aware, but you don't have to say it.
Okay. Is it okay to do that in like most of my videos?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do the end card. Like at the end, if you're like, learn about my new course, or PS, check out my bio, or click the link in my bio if you want to learn more. Like people will accept that you have something to sell. To your point, if you do it with tact and taste, there's little maneuvers versus just like every fucking video and be like, sign up for, you know, you don't want to be QVC, I get it.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Little tweaks.
Yes. Yes, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing you can do is go on a podcast tour where you're allowed to plug it. They'll set you up for that.
Okay.
There's also that, like investing more to go to other places. Do you know what I mean? Where that audience, like, you know.
Smaller, and it's okay if it's smaller podcasts.
Back to Soul's thing, I prefer it because you can get clips from it too.
Right.
Like, it's smaller. Like, listen, you're not gonna wake up out of bed and go right to Joe Rogan's show, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's
I
just,
don't think so either.
yeah, and I know you don't. And so like, when people ask me, they're like, so what do I do? I'm like, start going on smaller shows.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's first stand-up had 3 people in the audience, you know? So, anyway. All right, Johnson fam.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Star Wars.
You like Star Wars? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we like the same movie. That's awesome.
So we've been on YouTube. We're going on like 9 years now. We
I know.
actually met you.
I know.
Like, I want to say a decade ago at VidCon. Like,
I remember.
Way
I remember, brother.
So that was super cool to like be invited to this. So we're super thankful. One of the things that we have a question on is we've been on YouTube, and since YouTube switched over a couple years ago when they started not paying as much for YouTube Kids, I'm curious as why how you're monetizing this show on YouTube Kids, because we currently do roughly like 40 to 50 million views, and a lot of those come from YouTube Kids, and our AdSense sees none of that.
Yeah. I don't view this as a monetizable asset within the YouTube environment. I view it as a brand building exercise for all the things that are gonna happen outside of YouTube.
Okay, great.
And I think for you, and as you know, like I know your journey from afar well, and I know the journey very well because I'm in this business. This is why what you're seeing from Logan Paul and Charlie D'Amelio, and like you have as much permission as anybody to make a kid's toothpaste that could be $100 million business. Now that's a totally different business. But to remind the two of you, you didn't do family video blogging 10 years ago either, and you figured it out. And so this is why you're gonna see a lot of people go into product. Look, I think you already know the answer, right? Your ability to post-produce creative from the long-form cartoon and produce original creative to social that takes advantage of the algorithms creating awareness is the whole game. As far as AI, you know, I think of it as a thinking partner right now, more so than making the actual creative, though that will continue to advance. And so, and the most important AI right now in the world for everyone here is the AI that powers how the algorithms actually work. Understanding human behavior and like understanding that's becoming more and more of the game. So there's nothing too out of the ordinary on that, Garrett, other than for me, where are the opportunities? I'll give you an example. One of the biggest opportunities for every family and every individual here is Snapchat Spotlight. So Snapchat Spotlight is TikTok, is YouTube Shorts, is Instagram, and I have a funny feeling almost no one here is taking it very serious. And I would argue many of the people here, and let's remember what this room is. This is a winner's room. People are winning in this room. I'm pretty sure many of the people in this room aren't even posting on it or have an account on it. So to remind all of you of how you won, you went on a platform that had a lot of attention. Whether you started on YouTube and then went somewhere else, or you started on TikTok and went to YouTube, you went on a platform that had attention. You figured out how to make content so people for free saw it. And then you refined your skills. And then if you were smart, you started to try to do that on more than one platform. My question to you is, are you dominant on all of them? What makes me wildly unique, many people here have way more views than me, more subscribers on different platforms, but nobody here has 2 million followers or more on every platform. And when I say every platform, I mean LinkedIn, I have 5 million. I'm gonna guess this, I have more LinkedIn followers than everybody in this call combined, times a multiple. Yet, everybody on this platform can literally post the same, I know I'm a businessman, I get it, I know where LinkedIn started. LinkedIn is Facebook, friends. Every one of you, and I know what you all do, can post your actual videos on LinkedIn and slightly change the copy. Just the copy that supports it by knowing it's a business environment. Like literally at its most, Kelly M can just say, need 2 minutes away from your shitty job? Watch this. That's it. That's already contextualized what she does for LinkedIn. So the biggest thing I want from you, Garrett, honestly, is to keep doing what you're doing, but I would want to know which, like, I'll give you one that actually is even more serious. Where's everybody out on Facebook in here? Actually, I want everybody to do me a favor because it's gonna help everybody. From a 1 to 10, going hard, making content, trying to figure out the algorithm, like giving a fuck. Where are you 1 to 10 right now on Facebook proper? Put a number in. Put your number in the chat. So, it's fun to see all the different numbers, right? I'm sure for some of the people that are 2, they're looking at an 11. Now, obviously, Jenna with going after parents, like there's a lot of logic. Like Brittany, I can see it. But I'm telling you, I understand a lot of these numbers. Every one of you have to understand that Facebook is Instagram, is YouTube. They're all kind of the same. You think they're not, but you're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'll give you an example. My fastest growing audience on Facebook right now is 20 to 30 year olds. It baffles me. I've never found a kid 20 to 30 on earth who's on Facebook, but they are. They just go once a week. Or they're using Facebook Marketplace to get a free couch. Or they're part of a Facebook group that's mental health issues for 27-year-olds. Like, but then they consume a little bit of the algorithm. So, Garrett, obviously, as you can tell, I'm answering you, but I'm answering everybody here. By far the thing I would do, because you know what to do. I know that from afar. It's just, and I want you to dominate every platform.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer Johnson's fam's question because it's gonna help a lot of people, and then we'll go. If our Facebook created years ago, but it seems to be dead, should we create a new one? Here's the wildest shit of all, and I think all of you are gonna resonate with this. The answer is sure, yes, no, maybe, but here's the actual answer. I believe all these platforms are dangerously close within the next 3 years to get to a place where it won't matter how many followers you have. Every individual piece of creative has its own algorithm. Like, all it is now the single piece of content. So I would probably test it, to be honest with you, Johnson fam, on that one. Start another one with a tweak. Maybe you decide, I'm sure the two of you have like some creative ideas. The kids have gotten older, you've evolved. Like, there might be like a little spin-off, the BTS of what you do on YouTube. Or maybe, I'm not close enough to your content to not know there might be a meme going on in your world right now around eating cereal. Maybe you just do cereal content there, and on YouTube you're like, all our deeper cereal. Like, there's a lot, you can be it's creativity. You can see what I just came up with in 2 seconds, right? So, live shopping. I have no idea how many of you have started selling on TikTok Shop or whatnot. I'm talking QVC, live shopping. If this is not on your radar, like for real, I'm telling you right now, live shopping is where social media was in 2012. Meaning, people knew it. I'm sure everyone here knows what TikTok Shop is or whatnot, or Amazon Live or eBay Live. Like, I'm sure you've heard of it, or you might even fully know that it's the biggest thing in China. Like, I'm sure it's on your radar. You've seen a viral TikTok video of the woman that just does the purses and made 40 trillion. But I'm telling all of you, you will love. Some of you really did start your careers by something I said or a book I wrote. You already like me. This might really be where you really love me and build like a statue in your house. Live shopping is a huge deal. So that's different than what I told the Johnson fam to be the product. This is more being Walmart, being Amazon, like selling stuff. Like, I believe the Johnson fam, if they live sold for 4 hours a day, could do 8 figures selling stuff to buy in your house. Shampoo, toothpaste, it's coming. So I want you to get educated, okay? Just wanted to tell everybody, like, live shopping. The one that I think will really catch your attention, does everybody know what Whatnot is? Please download Whatnot. Jack, put the URL. As a matter of fact, this is even better. I've been doing the trading cards, so some of you know that the big thing going on in VeeFriends is the Pokemon cards of it all. Like, just to give you context, we sold $100,000 worth of trading cards in 6 hours on Whatnot the other day. But ironically, this Monday, upcoming, I'm doing a conference room clearance sale for like hoodies and t-shirts. So it'll be perfect for you to watch because it's more broad. I'll have Jack send you an email to the bookmark. Tune in to learn, because it's always like, watch what I do, not what I say. You'll get a feel. But honestly, even I'm just getting going and I'm innovating. I'm built for it. watch what's going on Whatnot on some of the other channels. You've got to, I need you all to understand live shopping. All right, not affiliate, not TikTok affiliate, live shopping, QVC, you in it. All right, Michelle.
We feature content creators, influencers, celebrities. We do red carpet events too. And I also own a marketing agency, been in marketing for 23 years. Always been known in the Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie area as like the guru of marketing, and I've always followed your footsteps. So everyone's like, hey Michelle, how do you know this? I'm like, can't tell you, but it's my little secret. So thank you, Gary, for all these years of being my go-to guy. But truly, you know, looking to branch out of this area, I've been doing red carpets and been out there, and I feel like my personality is electric. You know, every time I'm with other hosts and interviewers, I feel like I stand out, and I didn't know if I could ever compete in that world. Now that I have some confidence and I'm ready to do it, we've been doing a lot more on social, following's growing a lot, came to VCon, and met so many people, so thank you so much. And you know, I'm really looking to how to become the Oprah, the Ryan Seacrest, and build that real brand online. With the podcast, it's with iHeartMedia, so they've given me a lot of leverage to knock on doors, and you know, being able to have that backup just to get out there has been huge and gotten me into the VMAs, the Grammys, Super Bowl, things like that. But I want to really take my brand to the next level and become that go-to interviewer.
How much content are you putting out on social a week?
Right now we're doing about 5 videos a week of clips from the podcast and 2 or 3 from red carpets.
And so you're doing about 8 original pieces of content?
5 to 8.
And when you say per week, right?
Per week, yeah.
And what platforms are you posting that on?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and mostly YouTube Shorts, but the longer episodes on YouTube, like the regular platform.
All right, so I want you to expand into LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat Spotlight, ASAP.
Okay.
ASAP.
Okay.
Twitter too. Everybody, Twitter's about to take a hard turn into like all these too.
Okay.
I know that Twitter's an enigma in a lot of ways, but Twitter video and Twitter algorithm and like Twitter's gonna be, Snapchat Spotlight's gonna wake up in the next 2 to 3 years and start acting even more like TikTok and Instagram. Twitter's about to. So I really just need you to put all that content on every platform. Here's the key though. You've got to get great at what to do slightly different on every platform to maximize reach. I'm sure everyone here can agree that there's a platform of all the platforms that they feel the most confident in.
Yes.
Right? That is your biggest vulnerability, everybody.
Yeah.
And it gets worse. You know how like when you get older, you become like a worse version of yourself in some ways? You become like less curious, like obviously wisdom, and there's some good things, but I think everybody understands what I'm about to say. Like, I bet you a lot of you have been on other platforms, even back to the Johnson fam saying, what about our Facebook that used to, like, a lot of you've been on other platforms, but because you took off on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, you're like, oh, that's where I feel good about myself. I need you to fucking work on this. You know how you don't, like, who works out here? Raise your hand. You know, like, some of you, like, don't want to work out on legs even though you know you're supposed to? This shit's about leg workouts, cardio workouts. Like, no shit you like doing yoga, so you do yoga 7 days a week. But how about fucking building up your ass muscles or this or that, you know? Like, so basically that's, yeah, exactly. Like, by the way, me too. Like, I can only do cardio if I'm playing basketball because running against myself is fucking boring. Like, everyone's got their shit. So listen to me. There's 7 platforms that matter. If you want to get famous, you need to win on all of them because you never know which one, what, how, what, where, what. You can't post the same exact thing on every video. You can post the same video, but you need to make the thumbnail different, the first 3 seconds different, the copy different. This is the reason I wrote Day Trading Attention. Please, if you haven't read it or listened to it, I don't want your $2 that I get from my publishing deal. You can pirate it on Pirate Bay. I don't give a shit. Just read it. 7 platforms, platform excellence on all of them will lead to everything all of you want. How am I gonna do that? The answer is figure it out. Like, I know the next question. Well, how? Easy. Reinvest some of the money you're making.
Yep.
How? Stop wasting your time on dumb shit and spend more time at getting good at it yourself and doing it yourself. There's nothing more important.
Yep.
Gary, just to clarify, the reason you're changing the text on the thumbnail, is it an algorithm thing, or is it because the audience is a little different?
Both.
So I understand.
Both.
It's both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is gonna be complicated to everybody. Every one of us does our thing. I know most of your things. You're gonna think that the LinkedIn audience is different than the TikTok audience. Why wouldn't you change the thumbnail to like things you can do while you're at work, or having a tough day with your boss, let me make you smile for an hour. You put that on LinkedIn. You're not gonna put that on fucking TikTok. Weirdly, what you'll learn is you might put that on TikTok and you never would have thought of it. Like, the game becomes incredible when you're a Swiss Army knife instead of just being a fucking fork.
Yep.
Most of you are just fucking forks right now. You're so fucking good at being a fork that all your dreams and hopes have happened. But if you're a fucking Swiss Army knife,
I like it.
And what are the 7 platforms that you're talking about?
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, right? Snapchat, Spotlight, LinkedIn.
Hear that, everybody? I'm gonna write it in the chat too.
Snapchat, Spotlight, no one's thinking about. LinkedIn, no one's thinking about, right? Those are the 2 curveballs. The one that blows my mind is everybody just went away from Facebook because they thought it was like not important, when it's like the biggest one of them all. You know, obviously YouTube's a juggernaut, especially for a lot of people here. There's obviously YouTube and YouTube Shorts. Then there's the people in here that give a fuck about their Instagram aesthetic and their grid that drive me crazy, that I need to get to post on Reels only. So there's a lot of nuances. This is why I need you to read the book. There's like a lot to go into. If you worry about your grid, then you can post Reels only and it doesn't show up and you can get to the volume that I'm looking for that I want you to do. So there's just a lot to this. All right.
Somebody being intentional about creating content for kids, because I think not only with like somebody who loves fashion, but loves intentionality behind a lot of things, sometimes it feels like this world is kind of broad and not for everyone. So finding this is really cool to see. I can maybe show my kid this as he grows and as he kind of develops those habits, and as I'm kind of understanding who I am as a father as well. It's been cool to see.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, man, the books, you know, I have a book, I think most of you know this, but Meet Me in the Middle. Like, I really think that nobody's out here, there's not enough, that's not fair. There's not enough kids programming under 8 that's intent is selfless and then selfish. The reason I'm gonna win is because I always win. Like, I desperately wanna help parents, and then good things will happen because of that. Of course good things will happen. Of course, if everyone's like, oh shit, this is good. Like, this is helping me. Like, all of us as parents are trying to find the middle now, right? The far left and the far right parenting thing is not working. So everyone's trying to go purple instead of red and blue. So if I bring that value, especially as parents are figuring it out, of course good things will happen for me. I don't know how people don't get that. Like, we're all talking about things that we want for ourselves right now, but when you make the content, make it for them. And then this stuff will happen.
My question on that, because I want to ask you this, my last one, is really, for someone who is really known in that, in such a specific space in marketing and all these, like, and what you are known for, taking a dive into something else like a VeeFriends or content for children, my struggle for me personally is being known for one thing, creating content, now being a part of content.
Bro, you see this right above me? You know what that is?
What is it?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's wine. It's the only thing people knew me for 7 years of my career. I was America's wine guy.
How do you get through that mental, like,
by not giving a fuck of what people want from me. By having the humility to lose views. How about that? Do you know why most of you aren't taking risks? Because you're so attached to the range of views you normally get. Don't live for the algorithm, live for yourself. Yep. I want you to know how to maximize the algorithm, but what you fill it with must fill you. Ooh, shit, I like that. I need to clip that. That was a good, I've never said that before. That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one.
No, that's good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing about being a man as a father for Joe real quick? Is that all right?
Sure.
Joe, I got 4 kids. I got 3 girls, but I got a boy. He's 15. And I will tell you, for me, I've found the most difficult thing about raising a man is being a man myself. So one of the greatest things you can ever give your son, it's not just your time. Because Gary told us his father didn't give his time. You know what his father gave him? He showed him what a man does. You know where Gary's work ethic comes from? His father.
100%.
Your son to become a man.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, we're jamming now. My father taught me more than any person on earth what not to be. And I thank him for that. This is about what my father taught me, what my mother taught me, what my circumstance taught me, what my era taught me was I'm accountable. Think about this nice moment. My poor dad just got fucking dragged through the ringer. Like we're having this nice moment and I decided to jump in to tell you, my dad taught me what not to be. Like we've got to understand that we're trying to parent functional humans. You know, so there's just no balance, there's no right, and you all know this. I saw the Johnson family like head nod on this when I said my sister is, like that means that connected because you all know this. You have siblings. What, your siblings are the same as you? Like there's different DNA, and that's the fucked up thing with this. You think that there's a right way. It might work for one kid, and it might be the total opposite for the other. That's why I put my mom on a pedestal. She parented all three of us very differently. And it still turned out different. It didn't even matter if she did it right. There's still other variables. Friends matter. Life matters. Like the era you grow up matters. I don't think I would be this badass if I was growing up right now. The world's telling me to be this soft.
Yeah, it feels like such a vulnerability thing in entering fatherhood. You're rediscovering yourself, which is interesting as you're creating content. I'm like, I'm feeling unsure about things, so I think it's cool to...
I think it's about talking real with kids.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying out here, but like, it's life. Like the number one thing I believe that we should teach our kids is to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. The number one, like I think we can all agree with it. Deep down, if you melted it all down, that's life. I'm leaving you with this, all of you, because I know all of you somewhat. All of you have the capacity to be much bigger in your goals and ambition. There's a direct correlation to your ability to be good on all 7 platforms. You leave with that today, shit will change. You know this because being good at one platform changed your whole life. Figure that's where I want you to put in work. All right, we'll talk more soon. Thank you so much.